on the right-hand side here, this is where the property pane will be visible. And you'll have everything right here. So this is like always fixed. So you don't need to hunt around looking for the property pane. What we've also done is we let you scroll behind the property pane. So in case you're working on a small screen, you're not going to have like a really smushed and a really small viewing area for the app that you're building. You have enough space because there's a scroll here. The second thing that we are doing is letting people collapse the Entity Explorer itself. So the Entity Explorer can just collapse, and what I then have is just the property pane right here. And I can just slide my mouse to the left, and then I get access to everything that I need. And then I move it away and it disappears. I can, of course, like pin this, and then it's back to how it is today. You can also resize this. So if you need a little more viewing space, if you have a lot of entities here, this is going to be useful. The same thing is also going to happen for the property pane as well. You will be able to resize this so you can create more space for the code editor right here. So this is something that hopefully should go live maybe in like 2 to 3 weeks. There's a lot of design work that we need to do to just make this a lot better. But I have no doubt that this is going to go live like really soon. So super happy about this one. The second feature, let me just go back to my presentation. Okay, the second feature that's going to go live really soon is we have a whole new user onboarding flow. This is probably not that interesting if you're already using Appsmith, but this is great if you're inviting your team members to use Appsmith and other friends of yours or colleagues of yours who are developers. So we are revamping the entire onboarding process. This is something that's going to just help a new user identify what are the 5 steps that you need to take before you can build like your first application. So this is going to just be a great upgrade to our first-time user experience. This is again something that's going to go live in September. So keep an eye out for this, and we'll share a deploy preview soon on Discord. Now, moving on to the main topic of today, which is Git Sync. Now, I'm going to talk a few minutes about Git Sync, and then I'm going to hand it off to Abhijit and Deb Saurabh here so that they can talk a lot more about the status of the feature and what we are doing here. So the biggest reason why we started working on Git Sync is to enable better collaboration between developers, as well as enable a normal software development cycle to be applied to when you're building on Appsmith. The fact is that today, most low-code products out there, you can never use like a normal software development process. You cannot have code reviews. Neither can you have multiple people work on the same app at the same time without stepping over each other. At Appsmith, we believe like the best software can be built with teams. That's the reason we are working on introducing real-time commenting and real-time editing. But we're also introducing Git Sync so that developers who are used to a Git workflow, they can build on Appsmith and collaborate with each other. So that's the biggest reason we started working on Git Sync. I really have to thank some of our community members like Rafael and Eric, who've pushed us a lot to think about Git Sync the right way. They've given us a lot of early feedback, and we've used a lot of that feedback to design how we are working on Git Sync. And so for now, I'm gonna just stop my screen share and introduce Joy here, also known as Deb Saurabh. He's one of our earliest designers. He's been working on the Git Sync feature for, I believe, like the last 2 months. Isn't that right, Joy?
Yeah, almost like 2 months.
Yeah. And Abhijit, who's one of our engineers, he's been working on this feature again for the last 2 months. Abhijit was a CTO and a co-founder of his own startup. And here at Appsmith, he's been working hard on a lot of backend features, as well as he brings that tremendous amount of experience just working on very complicated software. And so he brings that to Appsmith here. So welcome, Abhijit and Joy.
Hi guys.
So to start off with, Abhijit, maybe you can talk a bit about our goals with Git Sync and what we are trying to achieve and where we are today.
Yeah, thanks, Abhishek. So when we started with Git Sync, we found that currently low-code platform doesn't main with the actual developer workflow that we follow. They don't have version control system. They lack in branching models. They don't have any kind of PR where user can review. You can have the business users as well reviewing your changes before going it into the production. So yeah, basically to start with, we thought of these different scenarios, like if you have a production ready app, you should, and if you have new features coming in, you have certain kind of bug fixes in the production app, then it makes sense to have a branching model in place, so that as Abhishek has already mentioned, so that developers have that freedom, that playground where user can, where developer will be confident enough that if I'm making some changes, it will not break any kind of thing in the actual production. So once your changes has been done, then you can ask your colleagues, your QA member to review it once, basically raise a PR around it, have a deploy previews. So yeah, basically that was the main motivation, so that even the low code platform should be a part of your development lifecycle. So basically that was the motivation to start with the Git Sync feature functionality. Yeah, and I guess we are really excited about this feature because it can bring in a lot of different perspective, how low code platform work and how they can be shipped along with the actual production ready, along with the actual end user applications. So yeah, basically this feature will enable all the teams to ship the admin panels along with the actual apps that they produce for their end users. So yeah, I think with this we can let us go ahead with the actual design previews. So I think Joy, you can show our users how can we connect to our remote repos, how can we make commits, how can we push to the remote.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Hey, thank you so much. So let's look at the designs directly without waiting. So what I'm going to show you here is the first flow relates with how do you connect Git to the entire platform? How do you connect a repository, and what are the steps you need to take in order to connect your repo, clone your repo, and then start pushing your code over there. We have been working on a lot of iterations and explorations in the past few weeks. And what I'm going to show you is like a much refined version where we have thought through a bunch of flows as to how we want to deliver this experience to a developer. And also, like, we have tried to keep it as easy as possible for someone to come and understand. So we hope like it rings a bell with everyone who is out there and wanting to use this feature. So as you can see on my screen, a couple of changes done on the current product itself. You have the top bar, which is slightly modified right now. We have a deploy button on the right, which gets like a split view. And you also see like a bottom bar, which says connect Git. So the way you can trigger Git is either from the bottom bar over here, next to the tick mark, which says connect Git, or you can use the drop down, which is next to the deploy button. So when you hover on the button and you click on it, you get an option to either connect to the Git repository, or you can deploy your you can view the latest deployed version. So for this flow, we're going to click on connect Git repository. You can click at the bottom bar also. And when you hover on it and you click on Git repository, you see a page. It's a modal which comes up where it says connect your Git repository. Now, the expectation here is that developers readily have their repository link available. So you can go to your GitHub, grab the link, come here, and paste it on the URL link here. And the moment you paste and you press enter, we're gonna automatically generate a key for you. As you can see in the screen here, it gives you the key, and there's an icon next to it, which you can click on to copy this key, or you can click on the unlink to like connect a different repository. Everything is done for you except the bottom two fields, where as you can see, it's my name and my email ID, but ideally whoever the author is will write in their name and their email ID. And then you click on connect. And when you click on connect, we fetch everything, and then we show you the deploy model. This is what we are calling the deploy model. This model has a couple of things which are very, very informative. One is we tell you what exactly are the changes which have been made from the previous state of the application. So as you can see, it says 3 widgets, 9 queries modified, 3 widgets updated. It also tells you which branch are you committing to. I'm going to come to the switching part in a while. If it's the first commit, we also give you like a pre-filled comment which says initial commit. You can obviously click on the box to override the comment. And then there's a checkbox which says push changes immediately. You can either choose to commit and push your changes together, or if you don't want to push them together, you can uncheck the box and then you can do them individually. So the first flow, if you want to push them together, you just click on commit and push. And we have like a loading state. And then we will come to a state like this, which says open deployed preview. If you unlink both of them, then you get a state which looks like this, which says push changes immediately is now unchecked. So you can commit independently and you can push independently. So it's not mandatory for you to like push the changes. If you just want to commit and keep it, that's absolutely fine. And when you click on the commits and push, if the successful state, you will see, as I showed you, this version where you can click on the latest deploy preview and open it. And at this stage, you can either close the modal, go back to your app and continue making more beautiful features. Or if you want to merge it with the current repo, then you click on the merge tab where you will see a screen which looks like this. Two things can happen at this point in time. Either there's no conflict within the branches and we directly let you push it to your main branch. In this case, you see this UI where we tell you you're on feature 1, you want to push it to main. That's the master branch or the main branch. And then we tell you there is no conflict with the base branch. And you click on merge changes and you are done. If there are errors, then we show you a state which tells you, hey, there are conflicts merging on the state. And we tell you like a log of errors of what is happening. And then you can go to your GitHub and resolve this merge conflict which is arising on this particular page. So yeah, this is how we have currently thought of doing Git deployment for the users.
Joy, can we also show how can we create new branches and then basically.
Yes. So let's look at the new branch creation first. If you look if you look at the bottom bar here, which is a new addition to the UI right now, the whole reason of getting a bottom bar is to like make this entire Git feature much more accessible to everyone. So as you can see here, it says when you hover on the branch icon with the name, it tells you either you can switch a branch or you can create a new branch. So when you click on this, we have a small modal which opens up, which tells you which branch are you on. And assume there are already branches have been already added here, then you see all the branch names here. You can click on the input text, which goes into a search mode, and then you can search whichever branch you are looking for. Or if you look on the very top, it says create new, which once you click comes to a modal like this, where you can write the name for your branch and then you can save and cancel it. So that is how one would create a new branch, or they would switch a branch.
Yeah, thanks. And the small buttons alongside the branches, we can push, pull using those buttons as well.
Yes.
Just like we have in the other IDEs like VS Code or IntelliJ.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
That will be really handy.
Exactly. So we have tried to like not make a new experience, but like keep it very native to what developers come from, like something like, as you rightly mentioned, the VS Code, which has like a bottom bar where you can do these quick actions. And that has been the sole driving force for this bottom bar, where you can do these quick actions from the bottom bar directly. So you get these badges, which tells you what is pending. So you might have a badge which says 7 pending merges, or you might have like 7 pending pulls. So there are various states to it. You might have like 12 new commits, 3 new things to push, 7 new things to pull. So there's like a quick way of accessing the same flow I just showed you. And yeah, this becomes very handy when you're like doing something and you don't want to go through the entire flow. You just want to like quickly merge. In that case, you just go to the bottom bar, you click on merge, and we show you the modal. You can merge it quickly from there. So this becomes extremely easy for developers to like do quick actions and not go through the flow every single time. So yeah, that is the whole point of using the bottom bar.
Yeah, great.
So Joy, Joy and Abhijit, I have a question for you. So you mentioned you've looked at VS Code. What are the other products where you researched how the experience of Git Sync should be? Because obviously this is a core workflow for users. So what are the products that inspired you to get this done like this?
So when we started our research, we were looking at a lot of deployment applications. We looked at Metabase, we looked at Gatsby, we looked at Vercel, we looked at Autocode, obviously GitHub, and then we were like trying to figure out a way which is not very new for the developer. So we have tried to like keep a lot of experience native to the development experience which the developers come from. So a lot of these applications have their own ways of doing, but we have tried to like use the same kind of icons and flows, which is very native to how developers are used to it. So like, for example, like source tree, we have seen a lot of icons being used from source tree because a lot of developers use source tree, which is a GUI for your Git repository. So it's a mix and match of a lot of applications here and there. We have taken bits and pieces, which we think is a great experience, and we've improved upon those. I think that answers the question, right?
Yeah, that definitely does. Abhijit, I remember us, like just on Slack, I've seen you guys have heated discussions about one flow versus the other. Could you shed some light on what have we, what have we simplified? What have we not done that would have actually made it more complicated, or something that you all decided after a lot of debating?
Yeah, there are a lot of discussions around this feature because it is a big feature in that sense. But to give a glimpse, so first we started with discussion about supporting the SSH keys versus the HTTPS URLs. So currently we are supporting the SSH keys. The way we are looking this is like users don't have to enter their username, password, any kind of credentials. We'll just create the key pair, and then user will just have to upload this public key to their whatever platform they are using. They must be using Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, anything. So we are supporting that today. So that's why we took that call to support just the SSH keys, so that we can generate our own private key and public keys, and then user just have to copy paste this key to the other platform. The other thing was showing the dips. So generally, where developer are used to using the Git functionality, they use diff very frequently. So basically, it just shows you what are the differences between the commit 1 and the commit 2. So for time being, what we are doing is, if there are any merge conflicts or any kind of diff you want to see, you just have to go to the actual platform where where you are hosting this repo. So if there are any merge conflicts, to make our flow more simpler, what we are doing in version 1 is we are asking user to push this conflicted branch to their platform, either GitHub or anything else, and then resolve the merge conflicts, and then again pull the clean branch again, so that we can rehydrate the application. Yeah, so that was the second thing. And the third thing that is still going on, I would say, is to support commit and push as a single entity, or have a separate commit and the push. Because the way we are seeing this is, we are not giving users the ability to check the differentiation between the two different commits. So it makes sense to have Git as a single source of truth, the remote Git, and then whatever you are committing, it should be pushed, so that the mental model will be maintained. So yeah, these are some of the glimpses.
So about the third point that you were mentioning, what exactly would have been the alternate way? Why would push and commit be more complicated or difficult for the user? Like what was your reasoning behind it?
Yeah, basically, generally what in general development lifecycle, what we do is we generally have commits, a lot of commits on your local. And then once you are ready to share this code with other people in your team, you then push it to the remote, right? But yeah, before that, you might have 5 to 10 different commits until you get satisfied with it. But still, you want to maintain that kind of changes, the incremental changes that you have done. But in our case, just committing to our local repo doesn't make sense, because users don't have the access for those commits as of now, right? It comes in handy when we have functionalities like checking the dips between first commit and the second commit. Today, we are not doing that for our users, right? So it makes sense to have a simpler flow where commit and push will be a single entity, will be a single atomic operation, where just after making the commit, you push it to the remote. And that way, the remote will be a single source of truth again. So you can definitely say that whatever that is present in the remote, that's the final version of your app, right? So the mental model becomes clear at that time.
Got it. That makes sense. Now, what are the plans for additional things that you want to do beyond what we are launching in our V1? What else have you been thinking of?
Yeah, so we want to have control over deploy previews more closely. Then we want to show users the visual way of Git dips, because in Appsmith, all the things are visual, you can say. And currently, we are supporting the environmental in some different format, but tomorrow we might think of creating a separate environment files and then supporting. So just like for staging, you have different type of environments, and for production, you have some different DB that the Appsmith will connect. So yeah, these are some of the things that will be taken care in the V2, I guess.
That sounds great. What's the most interesting thing that you learned while you were working on this feature?
Yeah, so basically, Git is our everyday life tool. We're developer out there, right? And we are developing this feature around that. So it feels really great to have that functionality in Appsmith, to integrate Appsmith in the development lifecycle. That just that feeling is really awesome, that we are helping our developers to have their own playground by creating their own branches. And then basically what that kind of development that we are used to, we are now integrating the low code platforms, basically the Appsmith, to have that capability where Appsmith can integrate to the actual development lifecycle. And along with that, yeah, the learning is will always be there. because we are working this for the first time. So yeah, there are a lot of learnings going on from the technical point of view as well.
That sounds great. Now I'm going to ask you a question that's probably the most important question a lot of people are asking. When is this going to go live?
Yeah, so we are expecting the beta version for this should go in the first week of October. We are really working to achieve this deadline, and we are pretty confident that we'll achieve this. But yeah, that's the earliest the beta version should go in the first week of October itself.
Okay, that sounds great. So that's like about 2 weeks, 2.5, maybe 3 weeks at most from now. Okay.
Yes.
That sounds really awesome. Thank you so much, Abhijit. Thank you, Joy, for showing everything and working on this. So this is all we have for you today. Do join our Discord if you're already not on it. We're going to share a early deploy preview of this, as well as deploy previews of our docked property pane. And we've also been working on our JS editor. So there's a deploy preview that's already shared on Discord, but there's a better deploy preview that's going to be shared sometime next week. So Discord is the place to be for looking at anything early. And otherwise, thank you so much. And this was great talking about one of our upcoming features. I'll see you again next week on Thursday at same time. We're going to be talking about some of our new widgets that we are just working on. And we have a bunch of new updates that are going live this week, as well as things that went live last week. We're going to cover that in our next week's call.
Just one thing, Abhishek.
Yes.
Yeah, when we upload this to YouTube or some other platform, I would suggest that we should also include the Git Sync issue that we have on the GitHub, so that people can see it and make a comment how they want to develop, and we can address that as well.
That is a great idea. I'm just going to share the link of the GitHub issue on chat right now. So folks, you can just check this out. And I'm also going to add this to our YouTube video description, so you can all see this. And Joy, you should also just do the same thing with your Figma link.
I will do it. I'll share the link on the chat right away.
Yeah, and we'll paste this on YouTube as well.
Yes.
All right, folks. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. I'll see you all next week. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye.
You guys, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, guys.